Welcome everyone to January 21, 2019 Reiki Call. I'm your host, Karen Harrison, located in Kansas City, and I am the Midwest traveling Reiki teacher. I travel to Dallas, Houston later this week, Omaha, Nebraska, St. Louis, Missouri, Oklahoma City, and other cities, occasionally by invitation. So my website is www.karenharrison.net, and I am recording this. You can listen to it later on my website at karenharrison.net under Reiki Call, or you can also find it on my YouTube account at Karen Harrison Reiki. I upload them there. And I am very excited that I am now on iTunes with an audio version only podcast. So you can catch it there also. It's under Reiki Call. So very proud that that got handled, thanks to my lovely assistant, Grace. Anyway, I was just greeting everyone. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And giving a little update that since we now have Holy Fire Reiki 3, that new upgrade came out in October, I have been very busily working on my PowerPoints for Reiki Master and Karuna Reiki Master, updating them all to Holy Fire 3, and the new information about authentic self, which is our God consciousness, however you use that term. It's our core self of who we really are, our dormant self, which has unhealed parts, our culturally created self, which is, kind of our cultural conditioning, and how this Holy Fire 3 energy works to uncover all of the things that cover up who we really are, like the culturally created self. It helps to peel those layers back and reveal the light and beauty and gifts of our authentic selves. So that's what I've been working on. Also with the new Holy Fire Reiki comes higher levels of consciousness that we're working with. So that is very exciting. We're now working with the levels of heavens, excuse me, levels 4 through 7 and beyond. And in these higher levels of heavens, the energy is more powerful and can more quickly and easily heal a myriad of issues. So that is very exciting to explore. I think we are brave explorers in consciousness. As William Rand says, we're not just writing or reading other people's stuff about this. We are exploring it ourselves and then writing what we find. So I think that's a pretty cool way to go about it. So I'm excited to share that with you. If you've already had any level of Holy Fire class at the Reiki Master level or above, all you have to do to upgrade is take an upgrade class or an upgrade webinar. William Rand offers the upgrade webinar for $35, and you can do that on reiki.org. So far, I haven't planned any upgrade classes because I've been too busy working on my PowerPoints, but I'm considering that. So we'll see. If you have an interest in that, let me know, and I'll see about if I can put one together in your city. So welcome. I'm glad that you all are here. One of the things that I like to start with is an opening prayer. So we'll do that and then just check in, and anyone would like to share what you've been doing with Reiki lately. I like to do that. Then we'll move into our questions and answers. And then we'll send each other Reiki and Reiki to any world situations that you would like to, as well as anyone who listens to this call later. Okay. Oh, Chris says, just took the upgrade webinar, but would love to attend one here if you have one. Okay. All right. Great. So, opening prayer. All right. Let's activate our Reiki energy. And if you don't have Reiki energy yet, just call on divine love, divine light, your spiritual source. I just use the terms Father, Mother, God, Sweet Holy Spirit, angels and archangels, illumined beings. We welcome your presence here. We intend to set our personalities and egos aside to be clear and open channels for only the highest and holiest Reiki energy. We offer ourselves as servants of peace and blessing, love and compassion. We offer our healing energy to anyone who needs it. And we are grateful for this tool to help ourselves and others, our pets, our world, to create more harmony, health, and abundance for all of us. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. All right. Well, would any of you like to share what you've been doing with Reiki? Oh, wait a minute. I got an announcement. I almost forgot. I am currently offering for my students a 21-day self-Reiki challenge. So it goes for a few more days. It has been a lot of fun. We have a separate Facebook group, and people have been posting about giving themselves Reiki every day and commenting on some of the benefits they're getting, like sleeping better, reduced pain, more harmony in their families, feeling happier at work, having a lighter mood. Those are just some things I can think of off the top of my head. So that is awesome, because giving yourself Reiki every day is one of the best things that you can do for yourself. Okay, now I'm ready if anyone would like to share what have you done with Reiki lately?
I actually I use it on my mother-in-law who has a blood clot in her leg and a big bruise, and she could really feel it, and she could really feel the heat in my hands too, and it seemed to help. Although it's a chronic thing, it doesn't go away right away, but it seemed to help.
Wonderful. How great that you could offer that for her to comfort her and help her. Yay. Anybody else?
This is my first experience with the Reiki, so I don't know anything about it right now. I have only read few of the comments online, and that's it.
Oh, yes. I was just thinking about that if we had anyone here that was new to Reiki, maybe you'd like to know a little bit. But, yes, so we teach all that in a class. Basically, Reiki is natural healing energy from your spiritual source, by whatever name you want to call it. Reiki is not religious. And you can give Reiki to yourself. It feels very comforting and loving. And if you don't have Reiki, you can just intend to put your hands together, call on healing energy from Source, God, call on love, and then place your hands on yourself. When you go to a class, you receive a special empowerment called an attunement, or in our lineage called a placement, that further strengthens the healing ability that you have. You also learn how to scan yourself with your hand for blockages, excuse me, in your energy field, and you learn how to scan someone else. You also learn all the standard hand positions, which are, eyes, ears, top of the head, back of the head, throat, shoulders, chest, stomach, hips, knees, and feet, and then turn over and do the back. So that's just a real brief overview of what Reiki is and what it can do. And, you know, you learn all that and a whole lot more in a 2-day class with Reiki 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yes. So, all right. Aurora wrote that I've been doing Reiki on myself, tried with a cat. Okay. Yeah. Some cats like Reiki and some cats are just insistent that they are the ones that give Reiki. And so they may not be as willing to receive Reiki. So you'll know, you know, when you try to give Reiki to your cat. Okay, Aurora says, just recently got a massage table, so now I'm going to try it out with my mom and aunt. They got some healing yesterday. My mom's migraine went away and has been feeling much better. Very excited to try it out more often and work on animals too. Wonderful, Aurora. That's great. Yes, Reiki can be very helpful with migraines, because with migraines, what happens is people have thick layers of energy built up, usually around the front of their head, oftentimes around the back of their head. You know, they may have spikes of energy coming out here, and Reiki is just very soothing. So sometimes what I like to do is gently take my hands through the aura, comb through it, and, you know, pull that congested energy off, or just, you know, place my hands very lightly over where that pain is. Usually if they have a migraine, I'm not going to touch the front part of their head. That can put more pressure on it. And of course, you want to be very quiet and move very gently and slowly, because that will help. And working on animals, yes. Animal Reiki is just a little bit different. With animals, it's good to activate your Reiki and then communicate with your animal that you can decide how much energy you want and where you want to receive it. Instead of having the animal come over, lie down. Of course, you can always give Reiki to your animal by petting it, but, you know, ask them and give them a choice. You're not going to hold the animal down. You know, just offer it, and then the animals, sometimes they'll come and go. Animals are more clear channels than people, so they don't need as much Reiki. Okay, and Chris says, okay, yeah, you're welcome, Aurora. Chris says, I've been sending Reiki to my daughter for help in finding a place to live, and the caseworker has found her a temporary place and is working with her on more permanent place Thursday, Section 8. This is good progress. Yay. Yes. Whenever our kids need anything, it's a really great idea to send them Reiki, you know, because we love our kids. We want them to do well. And sending Reiki to whatever situation they have is so much better than worrying. So remember this little motto: don't worry, do Reiki. You know, that's a good thing to keep in mind. And it feels a lot better, you know, for me as a mom too, if I am able to help my daughter out by sending her Reiki rather than sitting there worrying. Okay. Okay, what if your kids aren't into Reiki? Well, you can ask your kid if it's all right to send him or her Reiki. And, you know, if they don't want it, well, you know, you don't have to send it. You could send prayers. Another thing that you can do is ask, you know, ask in prayer, ask from your soul to their soul, you know, if it would be for their highest good or not. And if you get a yes, you can send it anyway. And if it's not, you know, for that person's highest good, the energy just isn't going to flow. And you'll be able to know, because when energy flows, our hands get warm. We can feel a little bit of tingly, really subtle tinglies, kind of like fingers on the palm of the hand. feel some tinglies in the hand. And after sending for 5 minutes or so, if you're not feeling anything in your hands, then it's just not flowing, and I would stop. But if you're sending and you feel it, then it's working. Reiki always respects free will, and again, if it's not for the highest good, then it just won't do anything. It will go towards the aura, but it won't go in and be absorbed, is what some healers have seen that are psychic and can see what the energy is doing. All right, good comments. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, Chris says send anyway, and she usually takes it a lot of times into the situation and not directly to her unless she's really sick. Okay, great point, Chris. Yes, you can always send Reiki to the situation, and you can send Reiki to the relationship. So for example, if I was having a conflict with my daughter and I felt like she wouldn't want the Reiki, I could always send it into my relationship with her because I am responsible for that. And sending Reiki will help to clear out any of the blocks and the accumulated stuff, and help to reset it and then fill it up with holy love. So that's a really great thing to do. So thanks for that, Chris. I like that comment. All right, I'm just making some notes of what we talked about, so later when I send out the follow-up email, I'll be able to tell people what we did on the call. Okay. All right. Anybody else want to share what you've been doing with Reiki? Or, this is also a time to get into your questions. All right, well, I have some questions that were sent to me. So this is from Keith. Says, I have a question about providing Reiki to someone when I might not be feeling well myself. Of course, if I were ill with something possibly contagious, I would reschedule that session. But if I were not feeling well due to allergies, or perhaps I'm really tired for some reason, will that impact the effectiveness of Reiki? So, great question, Keith. Yes, when you are contagious or sick with something, I would not be giving in-person Reiki to someone. So if you have an in-person session scheduled, I would cancel it. You can send them distance Reiki if you're feeling up to it. But if you're not feeling, if you're feeling really sick, then I would probably just give Reiki to yourself. Take care of yourself until you feel better. But if it's just, not feeling well due to allergies or headache or really tired, the Reiki is still going to work. It's still going to flow. What I've noticed for myself, I've been doing this a long time. I've been providing professional sessions since 2000. So of all those times, many times, something was up. Maybe I wasn't feeling well. Maybe I had a headache. Maybe I was tired. I didn't sleep the night before. Maybe I was upset or something. And it feels like, the energy is still flowing. Maybe it's not at my best. Maybe it's not flowing at, normal, but it is still flowing. It is still working, and the client is still able to benefit from that. I've had similar questions asked, like, what if I have cancer? Can I give Reiki to someone? Absolutely, yes. Your Reiki is still going to work. It's still going to flow. And you don't need to worry about giving someone your cancer by giving them Reiki. And then Keith goes on to say, what if I'm not in a good emotional place? Maybe anxious about something or a little down. Would that make any difference? Well, I've had that situation too, where I was worried or upset about something. And I find that by giving Reiki, I'm now focused on the other person. So that's a real blessing. Let me focus on your problems instead of my problems. Okay, that is a good thing. When I'm focused on you, I'm not worried about myself. So that is very helpful. Again, maybe the energy is not going to flow at maximum, but it's still going to flow and going to be worthwhile for the person receiving the Reiki. The main thing is when you're giving Reiki to someone, don't think about your problems. Okay? You need to put those aside and focus on the person. So that's the only thing that I've found that is not good. If I start focusing on my problems, then the energy switches and I'm giving my own energy instead of the Reiki energy. So that's no bueno. Okay, I've gone to practitioners where that happened. They started talking about their problems while they're working on me. That is not a time for the practitioner to talk about their problems. It's all about, the client and what their needs are. So that's the only caveat. Don't be talking about it. Do your best to let your problems go for that hour. Focus on your client, focus on his or her needs, and give Reiki. All right. Okay, let's see. Chris says, oh, I think I already read that. Can clear your energy field with Reiki before start sending to someone. Oh, yes, that is a good idea too. In our preparations for Reiki, I have a little checklist that I give people. You don't have to do all of it, but doing some of it is really good, like powering up the room, powering up yourself with the Reiki symbols. We teach this in class. And then we clear our energy field before we start with a Japanese Reiki technique called Kinyoku. And it looks like this. You brush across your chest. Well, you can't quite see. Brush, brush, and then arm out. Brush, brush, brush. So as we do that, we are intending to, there's my screen covering up the bookshelves behind me. We are intending to clear away our own energy and any issues that we have before we start. And then we do that at the end also to clear away any energy that we might have picked up from the client. So any other thoughts about that or questions about that? Okay. All right, from Aurora. In my second attunement, the Reiki master said the higher masters let her know they would do it for her, so she did not actually give the attunement herself, but she said they did it for her while we meditated on the attunement. Have you ever heard about something like that before? And if so, is it just as good as getting it from the Reiki master? Okay. All right, that's a good question. So guess what? With Holy Fire Reiki, we don't have to worry about that anymore. The Yasui attunement and the Yasui Tibetan attunements are a rather complicated thing. They take 3 typewritten pages of instruction in order to do it from start to finish. That's a lot of steps. It's a lot of things to try and remember and do. And it's kept a lot of people from teaching because they had performance anxiety, understandably. And if you'd like to see something more about that, on my YouTube channel, I have a funny attunement anxiety skit. So in Holy Fire Reiki, we have changed it from what I consider to be a masculine projecting way of doing it, which is the attunement, which involves tapping and touching and blowing and patting, along with a lot of, different affirmations and things, to now with Holy Fire Reiki, we give you a very short guided meditation to read. Then you let the person sit in the silence for 15 minutes while the Reiki energy comes in and does the attunement, which we now call a placement, for you. No performance anxiety there. It's very easy. So I consider this the feminine receptive way of doing the attunement. It's much easier. It enables a lot more people to teach because they don't have to be worried about it. Also, people that have any sort of disabilities, say they are, in a walker, not able to get around, or a cane, or they're missing a limb, or, whatever, it makes it a lot more accessible. Now, kind of back to your question, Aurora, I would say that if you're in a class and receiving an attunement, with all the 3-step page, that Reiki master should do their best to do the attunement. And, certainly their teacher could also be doing the attunement, and that way the person would get 2. But in our lineage, we teach that attunements really need to be done in person and not just at a distance. So it's not that distant attunements don't work. It's just we think that the value of a Reiki class comes from, being there in person with someone. So, I think that if the teacher is attempting to do the attunement, that it's going to work. Okay. Hey, I love getting your questions. Now, another question I got is about sending Reiki to someone in another location. When I'm with someone in person, I can intuitively judge how long to keep my hands focused on a specific area. But if I'm sending Reiki out to another location, I don't get that intuitive feel. What would you suggest in these circumstances? All right, well, there's a lot of ways to send distance Reiki. A really simple thing to do is to activate your symbols, your power symbol, your mental emotional symbol, your distance symbol. How do you do that? You visualize them, you draw them on your hands, you say their name, and then imagine a small version of the person that you want to send Reiki to in the palm of your hands. And you can send Reiki to the whole person all at once. And that's easy. Hold your hands together. Or you can even place your hands on your body and intend to send it to the person. Another way is you can get a picture of the person and put your hands around the picture and intend to send Reiki to the whole person. Another way that perhaps this person was asking about, this is Keith's question, is if you're doing distance Reiki using a proxy, like a doll. And I don't have my doll up here, or I would show you, but you can use a doll or a stuffed animal and give Reiki to a specific place. For example, you can place your hands on the shoulder of the bear and say, as I give Reiki to this bear's shoulders, I intend to send Reiki to my friend Cindy, for example. And if you're doing that, then you would just wait and feel what the flow feels like. It's not going to feel quite the same as when you give Reiki in person, because you're not going to have the warmth of that body. But I think you'll be able to feel some flow. If not, just trust that it's working. Some of my students, don't really feel the flow, but, their Reiki is working. I can feel it when they, try it out on me. So just trust that it is working and send Reiki anyway for as long as you feel guided. And know that it's just going to feel differently on the stuffed animal than when you're doing it directly on the person. You can also just do the standard hand positions. If you're not sure what to do, do a few minutes in each position and work your way down the body. That way you know that you've covered it all, no matter what you were feeling. Okay. All right. Well, any other questions from you all before we move into our time of sending Reiki? Oh, okay. Here's a question from Aurora. Does your Reiki get stronger the more you do it, or how do you make it stronger? Are there any tips? Yes, your Reiki gets stronger the more you do it. Just like anything that you do, you get better at. As you give more Reiki and give more Reiki to yourself, it helps to clear your channel. It helps to make the energy stronger. So the Reiki that you get at Reiki class is not what you're going to end up with. It's going to continue to get stronger over time, which is really cool. Let's see, I'm just making a note on this. So practicing, the more you give Reiki, the better it's going to be. Giving Reiki to yourself helps to make it stronger, because when we can be a more clear channel, then the Reiki flows more smoothly. So for example, if you imagine yourself like a hose, a soaker hose that has holes in it, as you are channeling that Reiki, some of it's left behind with you when you're giving to somebody else. So that, is going to help to clear you, giving yourself Reiki. Going up to higher levels of Reiki, when you go on to take the Reiki Master class, you get the empowerment, which in Holy Fire we call ignitions. You get the ignitions to the Master symbol, the Holy Fire symbol. You get the placement for the Sui Master symbol, and you get some very powerful procedures that you learn, such as Holy Fire meditation, which is another way to further strengthen and increase your healing energy. And then, the last thing I would offer is taking good care of yourself, eating healthy, getting enough sleep, exercising. If your body is in, better shape, you may be able to channel more healing energy than if your body isn't in good shape. Now, that's not always the case. I mean, I've had Reiki from people that, really weren't very well, and their energy felt plenty powerful. So, I just think that that's generally a good goal to have in life, is to take good care of ourselves. Any other comments about that the rest of you think? Okay. All right. Well, hey, I love having all of your questions here. This makes it a lot more interesting, and I also welcome your comments. I don't think of everything myself, and I learn from you all too. So thank you for that. Okay, let's move into the part of sending distance Reiki. So again, if you are new to Reiki, just place your hands together, call on healing energy from Source, by whatever name you call Source, God, Holy Spirit, angels, archangels, or if you're Hindu, call on your Hindu gods, or whatever, and place your hands together. Intend to connect with that healing energy. If you have Reiki, then activate your power symbol your mental emotional symbol, your distance symbol, and any other symbols that you want to use. And then I'd like to intend to send Reiki out to heal the ongoing shutdown that we've had of our government. I haven't checked today, but I assume they didn't figure that out yet. 'Cause I would like those federal workers to get paid. And just, to guide all of our government officials, as well as sending Reiki to everyone that watches this, everyone that needs it, everyone that's been affected by any kind of problem, natural disaster. Reiki for whoever needs it, for whatever their need is. Okay, so I'm got my Reiki energy activated, and now I'm just going to put my hands down, and let's intend to send Reiki to each other as well as whatever world events we want, and we'll do that silently until about 5 of 8. Okay, let's bring that to a close. Wow, that felt really powerful. I feel so relaxed. I feel like going to bed now. Does anybody want to share your experience, what you felt with that? Okay, Kevin, your box lit up. Were you going to say something?
Yes, I did. No, I felt it too. You can give Reiki to yourself, which I do quite a bit, but there's something about receiving it from others that's just much more intense and powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes, you're really good with your self practice. I think that's awesome.
And the one thing that resonates.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I thought you were done. Please feel free, Kevin.
No. Well, the one I just wanted to back up a little bit. The new lady, her name is Pooja.
Uh-huh.
You said something in Reiki 1 and 2 that resonated really strongly with me, and it was that Reiki was like empowered prayer. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a physical manifestation of our prayers, because you can feel the energy, you can feel the heat, and that's something I think she's going to look forward to.
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Pooja.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. What were you going to say?
Oh yes, it was a great experience. Like something heavy or hot. I'm not sure. Like some kind of energy was there. Yes.
Uh-huh. Good. I'm glad you felt something.
Yeah, like something nice. Yes.
Uh-huh. Good. And it is harder to feel it from a distance usually than in person. So in person, it's even better. I mean, it still works the same either way, but people just are able to feel it more in person. However, that was really strong. I almost thought, oh dear, I hope I don't fall asleep on this call. Oh. Okay, Ludwina, what did you want to say?
What I found interesting, and I don't know if anyone else experienced this, and I have never experienced this like that. It's normally when I give Reiki, my hands feel hot, as I think many people do. But in this case, the bottom of my feet felt hot as well, which was a more different sensation. I don't know if anyone else felt that.
I've had other students comment that particularly when we're doing Reiki in a circle called Reiki Mawashi, they often will say their feet feel warmer. And that's just a sign that the energy is going there, and maybe it's helping to ground you.
Thank you.
Yes. So Aurora says you can feel a higher vibration from when we first started. Yes. And Chris says lots of energy going out, felt more energy going out the last few minutes, got stronger. Yeah, I felt it kind of ebb and flow here and there. And whenever I felt it start to ebb a little bit, I just would mentally say to myself, fire it up. And then boom, there it is. The Reiki, that is. Okay, well, we are coming up to 8 o'clock. I really appreciate all of you joining me. It makes it a lot more interesting to have some people on the call. I really appreciate your questions, and this was great for you to type them out too, especially if you're shy and don't want to talk, or maybe you don't have a speaker. That works great too. So thank you all so much for joining me. I have recorded this, and I will be posting it on my website within the next few days, as soon as my webmaster can get it up. And join us next month. I usually have the Reiki call, usually about the third Monday of the month, but it kind of varies depending on my teaching and traveling schedule. But I'll send out the notice about a week in advance. And if you're one of my Reiki students, then I also have my Facebook group called Reiki with Karen, and I post it there also. So may you be blessed by Reiki, and thank you. And we will hopefully connect with you next month. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes, so my website again is www.karenharrison.net. Okay, thanks. Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.